Ram-pa-dam! Our last series of the day is about to come for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 100 Thieves Academy taking on CLG Academy. And, Crumbs, I'm not going to lie, the odds are very stacked against CLG Academy, even though they did pick up some surprise 1-1 wins against Cloud9 Academy, notably. This is 100 Thieves, who is leading the table right now in Academy.
100 Thieves is leading, except teams are catching on to what they are doing that is getting them so far ahead. Whether it's focusing on team fights or a few specific champion picks, I think that everybody is learning from what is actually getting the dubs in Academy, and CLG has been no stranger to that learning. I think they got that win yesterday, last week against Cloud9 off the Fiddlesticks. That was a pick that really caught them off guard. I think that a few more tricks like that, and you get yourself a win. At the very least, you tie 1-for-1, but you gain a lot of experience and confidence in what can actually win you games. So I believe that CLG is improving. They are getting better. Some might call it faith. Some might call it copium. I just think that CLG is actually learning, and so is every other team in the league. It's harder to stay at the top than it is to be at the bottom, Rafa, because the teams at the top have to continue to innovate and get different, while the teams at the bottom just have to copy your thing and do it a little better. So the burden of how to improve is very clear when you're a bottom rung team, whereas the ones at the top have to constantly theory craft, and that often puts you in a position to make a mistake in that theory crafting.
Yeah, and for CLG Academy, the other win that they did pick up last week was evening up the series against Immortals Academy. And a lot of these wins seem to be off the back of being able to really play around Keel, who is really kind of the focal point for this team a lot of times, because he's the one that's bringing the spicy picks to the jungle. You know, remember, as we noted at the top of the series, or the top of the day, when we had the Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses series, Jernfire and Keel are the only two junglers that have brought out the Fiddlesticks flavor in Academy so far. And it's not been a pick that has been really experimented anywhere else in the globe. You know, maybe Kenvi says, you know what, I want to try the Fiddlesticks. But he's been doing just fine whenever he gets his hand on Kindred or the Xin Zhao as well, as long as 100 Thieves have a powerful enchanter in the mid lane to buff him up.
Yeah, that's the key. Either enchanter or plenty of physical damage with the Fiddlesticks. Those are some of the looks that these teams are taking. But we just saw from that last game, Rafa, it's getting exciting in the bot lane. The bot lane is getting involved in this. They are actually playing things that are non-meta. I think this week and the next week and this weekend is actually going to be the beginning of just the gates being broken wide open, and we're going to see so much that it's just going to have to come down to play as the games and draft become more involved in experimentation. Teams are going to have a harder time judging how to play a comp in a premeditated fashion. They're going to have to execute on the fly, and so that's when we'll see which are the better teams at just completely identifying their win condition during the game and then executing on it.
You know, I would love if Ziggs bleeds over into LCS and we get to see Ziggs bottom lane start creeping up in some of the LCS squads for this weekend. But still got Academy for today and tomorrow. And we'll see how well the flavors start to be experimented with in the rest of the week as we go on. But for 100 Thieves Academy and CLG Academy, the draft phase has begun, and right away, 100 Thieves Academy not even giving a chance for the Fiddlesticks to see the light of day.
I think they want Rumble then. I think they want Rumble, but if they can get away with it, this team will first pick Karma. CLG, you gotta ban it. There it is. Maybe we'll see a first pick Lulu if they want to go in that direction. My eyes keep going towards 100 Thieves Academy and their LCS team because they were the first to innovate with that combination. So maybe they've got other tricks up their sleeve, as their initial bet on this duo has clearly paid off. Other teams have copied it. So let's see what else they've got that can be that effective.
Boom, baby. So in prior series, we see the first pick priority go over to something like the Lee Sin. We're going to ignore the hover for now, as 100 Thieves Academy trying to take away some of those powerful physical damage solo laners, as you already mentioned before, how CLG Academy like to play around, being able to pair Keel with a strong AP jungler, and then giving them something like the Lucian, which was taken away, and 100 Thieves Academy do lock in the Lee Sin.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll see CLG Academy just taking away the Akali right away, making sure that combo isn't taken. Yep, this seems to be the answer, although it's really tricky because I feel like Lee is a bit better than the Akali right now. His ability to just get a kick and not rely on actual damage does offer more flexibility to what he can bring
Yeah.
to the table. And so I'm currently liking what 100 Thieves Academy has thus far. But what will CLG Academy actually combine with this? Because we saw in the last game, Dignitas tried to do this. They lacked engage. They lacked enough champions that would be able to assist with the dive for the Akali. So this time around, will they prioritize that early or have it banned out by 100 Thieves?
If they still want to go for strong physical damage solo laners, things like the Set, the Nocturne are still up on the table. Tristana is also a powerful pick that can go between either Ryoma or Luger in the mid lane and the bottom lane, respectively. For CLG Academy, they're already indexing on having a safe AD carry within that. How did I even forget about the Renekton? The Crocodile, also a powerful pick.
So Renekton has been almost permabanned in the LCS, but he actually hasn't won a game when he gets picked. So he's in a tricky position because teams continue to index into him as a pairing with Nidalee or these kinds of picks, and so it just becomes something that if they don't execute on it early, then he just falls behind and doesn't do that much, since there's a lot of range champions that can really deal with him in the current meta. And so this Renekton pick doesn't necessarily add that much to this lineup, but at the very least it can be a quick stun onto the Akali, onto the Xin as well, so he can be effective as a peeling champion, can cover some distances and engage. But against the likes of an Ezreal, out of all champions that you want to go after, this might be the one that has the easiest time dealing with Renekton.
Now, with the banning phase, notice how CLG Academy already fearing for strong laning marksman for Luger, the Callista being taken away. I imagine if we want to go down the list of other powerful, dominant ADCs, Varus could be the next one off the table as well. Whereas 100 Thieves Academy are trying to take away some of the powerful counter picks that are still left on the table.
It's a weird one to me to ban out the Jace, because I think they're thinking that this Jace will go into the Renekton, into the top lane. With Renekton being locked in without a Nidalee or an AP jungler that really is effective early game, I think that this is going to be Lee Sin simply matching the Akali. And so because of that, I'm guessing that it's going to be a Renekton into the top lane. So the Jace ban, it's not that great of a lane for the Jace into the Renekton, since it's pretty easy to then just have the Renekton gank him, and it's going to be a Braum ban. This is the support, Rafa. This is the sleeper support. We've been talking about it. Braum is the go-to when you're trying to defend yourself from people that are trying to dive your carries.
Gnar being picked up, trying to give a safe option for Tien to go either into the Renekton or the Lee Sin. Kaisa being currently hovered at the moment. If they lock it in, then I would imagine probably the Nautilus is going to be the next best bet that you want to lock in, comboing beautifully with that Rumble Equalizer, as CLG Academy still waiting to see what their support answer is going to be.
I think Nautilus makes a ton of sense here. It makes for a pretty nasty comp for 100 Thieves Academy, actually. They'll be able to just dive, zero in on a single target, like the Ezreal, like the Gnar, and just immediately delete him, since all members will actually be able to follow through on that. Instead, it will be the Alistar. So,
okay,
kind of works the same way, but he's so much better at peeling. That's the one element of Alistar that Nautilus doesn't have. Nautilus is actually not a very good peel champion in the current meta, because picks like Akali can literally kill your AD carry before the depth charge goes off. So it's like you can press it onto her and then she can dash out or do all sorts of flips and get onto your backline, kill him, and get out. Whereas an Alistar, well, you can actually both engage and be much better at peeling them. So this pick makes a lot of sense to me. It's giving a lot of respect to the Akali.
Yeah, it's giving flexibility for 100 Thieves Academy as well. You have powerful engages with Alistar, and the nice thing about Alistar versus Nautilus is that whereas the Death Charge is this incredible ability, it's an ultimate. So you have to wait longer on it, whereas the Headbutt Pulverize combo, you get a little bit more uptime, so usually when you get to those mid-game team fights, maybe late game if it goes that long, you're guaranteed to at least hit 2 or 3 of those bad boys in the middle of a skirmish or a long drawn-out fight. And as we're looking at the compositions, paled out here, Crumbs, you see this Xin Zhao, having, as you called it, one of the best ultimates in the game right now, being able to keep things at a distance, which is why 100 Thieves Academy have to go so hard with the dive so that they can actually close the distance and get into the realm of the Crescent Guard.
It's not going to be easy to follow that dive, though, because CLG Academy have plenty of tools to deal with it, whether it's a lot of mobility or just their last pick. The Gallia is something that we saw from Cloud9 in the LCS last week, and it's just really good at backing up any divers like the Xin, the Akali, or even the Gnar if he actually has a fine flank. But he's also going to be excellent at peeling and making sure that if somebody gets picked off from 100 Thieves, or the 100 Thieves is going after, the Gallia can just drop from the sky, protect you, have that taunt, and make sure that anybody that tries to jump the backline will first have to get through Gallia, which is an almost impossible task to do, because this man is not only packing all of the abilities that Gallia uses to peel, but he has an exhaust on top of it.
He is very much committed to the fact that 100 Thieves Academy are going to try and eliminate his friends here, Crumbs, and having the exhaust will try and diminish and reduce the amount of damage that is coming out and potentially look for a counter engage, as that is going to be the name of the game for CLG Academy. RGS taking some aggressive summoner spells this time around with the Teleport, Ignite, no Flash. Very committed to trying and eliminating a threat from 100 Thieves Academy.
It's a way to always find a fight. That's what I like about these kinds of compositions, is that it gives yourself the tools to punish mistakes from the enemy. Something that's often overlooked in building a composition is that if you just don't have ways to pick people off, that doesn't just mean that it's harder for you to find the fight that you want. That means that the enemy more mistakes that will go unpunished just because your champions have less options with which to engage. And so giving yourself more tools to fight ends up making bloodier games as you punish the enemy's mistakes.
Now, for both of these champions here in this bottom lane, Luger and Poom versus Katsuri and Hooks, respectively, they have some all-in potential. Got to be careful about the Gallia's ability to be able to taunt up and stun 2 people. But then again, if Hooks is sitting right on top of Katsuri, it'll be an easy headbutt pulverize. But they go for level 2 first, and they're going to try to push their advantage. But now they get level 2, and Poom going to be able to capitalize on being able to find an advantage back and giving first blood over for Luger. But Katsuri has to commit, trying to equalize the trading back. He does find a 1 back on the Luger, but Poom might have enough CC, and he's got it. Headbutt pulverize right into the wall, but Katsuri flashing back into the wall, into the bush. Just one more on attack. He's got it. Katsuri! They turn out on top.
Great look from the CLG bottom lane. They hit level 2 and instantly engaged on Poom and Luger. Flash with a double taunt. But the curious thing is that at the same time that the engage was happening, the 100 Thieves bottom lane also hits level 2. So they're able to go for the turn. And the key thing to note in this engage and why it was much closer than it should have been for 100 Thieves side is that Poom is not running Aftershock. This is face rush on the Alistar, so he does not get tanky when he hits a pulverize, when he hits a headbutt. He in fact just stays the same, but walks a little bit faster. And so that made him take much more damage than the Galio in the engage. So let's take a look at how this played out, because when this minion dies, bam, they go in. But at the same time, Luger procs his Q, and so he kills some minions before Galio goes in, as it targets those minions as he arrives. And so that makes it so that 100 Thieves' bottom lane can go in. And then Poom, he's feeling like he actually can win this fight. He's going 1v1 them, but he's actually taking minion aggro, while Katsuri is not.
On the last auto attack, Katsuri being able to get a clutch arcane shift just in time, as if Boom had vision, I would imagine that he would have been able to come out on top of that 2v2. So CLG Academy being able to open up in an isolated 2v2. Overall advantage for Katsuri, 2-0 on the Ezreal with two of the most important items in the game. Oh my god, they're actually making this dive happen. They know he doesn't have flash, so there's no way for him to get out. Ignite comes down onto Kenvi, but Keel flashing over the wall. He needs to be able to equalize back something for his fallen comrade, but Kenvi's able to make it out alive, and Ryoma has the safeguard to also exit.
They get away. They get the flash out of Xin, and so they get everything they could possibly want from that dive. They even get the TP out of RJS out of that fight, and it's a huge win for 100 Thieves. The mid lane bot, just the party don't stop, though. Going after Tien, can you hit a Q?
He's going to ward hop in, gets the flash out, and knowing that it's going to be easy pickups just to land that resonating strike.
Really nice teleport there out of Ryoma, making his way to the top side. Won't miss much on the mid lane and gets a summoner out of Tien. So now there's a mini Gnar that can be ganked. So really good ward there from Tenacity that then Ryoma follows up when Gnar is trying to crash the wave. He overextends. He's thinking, great, it's only the Rumble I have to beware. I already saw him in the mid lane. It's Ryoma as well, the teleport on the lead, and he plays it really well. Holding on to the Q was very nice.
Yeah, that was good stuff from Ryoma as well. Being able to capitalize immediately on the advantage that they found on RGS, and just sharing the wealth across the board here. This is something that 100 Thieves, something that they have always been able to do super well. As soon as they find an advantage, they start to just push that lead as much as they can. The only place that they don't have an advantage right now is technically in the bot lane, as Katsuri, having 2 kills to his name, no deaths, is leading in terms of gold advantage, but Luger able to equalize the CS means that he is not that far behind.
Yeah, not that far behind yet. 100 Thieves is very far ahead in mid lane when it comes to pressure. With the Iron Spike on Ryoma, his wave clear just doesn't even come close to RJS. RJS has to sit back, watch Ryoma, just farm away, push every wave, and rotate over it. Buys the 100 Thieves bot lane and the top side all the space in the world when they know that Lee Sin can collapse first and assist whatever fights were to break out.
Tien going in for some chip damage onto Tenacity, just using the Gnar ultimate out. Tenacity now about half HP. He still has Dominus, so he's not in any danger quite yet. We do see Keel in the jungle, rotating over. We've got Ryoma and Poom and Kenvi all in hot pursuit. Kenvi isn't level 6 yet, but Ryoma is. He's got the Dragon's Rage, he's got the kick. Keel doesn't have flash from before, and they're just punishing CLG for all their overextensions. Tien getting run down. Poom trying to tank as much turret aggro as they can. Poom might fall for this one, but the rest of the 100 Thieves members do pick up Tien.
Okay, that could have been even perfect, but still, 100 Thieves playing really well on that one, knowing where they can strike, knowing the members that don't have flash, and continuing to punish it. The roam from Poom, so unexpected. The best CLG can get out of this is farming in the bot side. That's still a worthwhile trade, as the top 3v3 now is looking so one-sided for 100 Thieves. Ryoma is getting all of the gold too, so let's take a look at how this plays out, because this is a really nice blast cone into a kick. Keel did not suspect it at all. Then we look into this, because what Poom is trying to do is actually stagger his auto attack for the stun, but he takes one turret shot too many, and that ends up getting him killed, because Ryoma could have taken another one and would have lived. So he mistimed the bells at the bottom of his model for the auto attack and the stun. So he just ends up flash auto attacking, doesn't do anything with that, but it could have been not a single death for that play.
Obviously, for 100 Thieves, it would have been nice to optimize that play better, but still, the advantage remains. It's almost about 1,000 for themselves across the board. And Ryoma on this Lee Sin is probably the most terrifying member to have to deal with. He is almost at completion of that Gore Drinker. And being able to constantly push in this wave, thanks to maxing Tempest and the Iron Spike Whip, as Keel and RGS trying to get feisty with Ryoma, but it is definitely hard to make a gank on the Lee Sin when he has this much mobility.
I just had a random thought. You ever noticed how vile the name of Gore Drinker is? To drink gore? We've just been saying that over and over again. That just hit my head. Like, we just keep saying Gore Drinker. Gore, like, ugh. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely not a kid-friendly term when you think about it more. But we do see a lot of action, and for Ryoma, who is drinking the blood of his enemies right now on the Rift, I mean, it is a suitable name. It's not necessarily the most appealing, but I think it's only true here.
And now they will be drinking the blood of the first spawn of Shelly, as she will be taken down swiftly. There's no fight for it. 100 Thieves topside is just way too strong. There's no need to go after this, especially once Kenvi is already level 6. You do not want to be messing with a Rumble at this stage in the game. We just saw in the last game how Dignitas Quantum Pay just obliterated the Rift Herald fight with that equalizer. So knowing that this is not a place to fight, CLG back off and is happy to give it up and just buy themselves some time, because Katsuri does have all their gold, so you can count on Ezreal to carry the game, as I think he'll be the champion that will keep his distance from most of the 100 Thieves engage.
Tenacity still trying to get into the face of TN despite getting thrown back by the Meganar ultimate. Boomerang Blade not be caught, but he's just shoving out this wave. We did see Keel trying to look for potentially an invade onto the bottom quadrant while they were taking the Rift Herald, but there are no jungle camps to be taken, as Keel is going to be shifting his way towards the bottom side of the map. There's an opportunity here for RJS to push out this lane and potentially look for a roam towards the bottom side of the map, as he's going to be able to get the first shove. There's some wards in the river. We're going to have to see if he can walk out undetected, as Hooks trying to set up for the play, as Keel is now making his way. He's going to be sitting, lying in wait.
Kenvi is making a beeline for this bot side, so if CLG wants to start a fight here, the Rumble will be ready to follow it up. Watch the Hex Flash. Oh, here we go.
He found Hooks, but does he want the fight this early when Kenvi is still a far ways out? But Keel wasn't in range to be able to equalize anything back. And speaking of equalizing, there comes the equalizer. Teleports are coming out. It's Ryoma's already here trying to look for the kick onto... Oh, whoa. He just kicks him right in the face. What? Takes out one, takes down two. Double. Can he get the triple into RGS? He's not going to be able to get out of this one alive. Although Resonating Strike goes wide. But Luger is there to pick it up for RGS.
What damage out of Ryoma. That was just brutal. He just jumps into the back line. Tempest for one kill, Kick for another, and 100 Thieves win that fight with flying colors. Katsuri can come back into the lane, though. He knows that it's only Luger in here, so it won't be actually denied that minion wave. But CLG over-forcing that fight into the bottom lane ends up backfiring in a tremendous fashion, as 100 Thieves not only have their most fed member teleport into the fight, but the equalizer to force all the flashes before they even got there.
Ryoma is so fed, Crumbs. 5-0-2 on the Lee Sin. You already saw that he had completed the Gore Drinker a couple minutes ago. Now he's halfway through his second item. I believe it's going to be a Black Cleaver, and we got to see how this fight started off once again.
Alistar Hex flashes in, and I like that move out of Poom because he has the ultimate, and so he can actually put himself in harm's way. But then CLG extends a bit further, having used already so many crucial cooldowns, and then Ryoma arrives. Look at this. Kick. Bam. Actually, that was just a Tempest. It looked like the kick, but no matter the case. He had the Gore Drinker there for the extra damage, and his arrival and the mobility to follow up, because it looked like CLG was out, is why Lee Sin is so priced right now.
CLG Academy have quite a bit of a mountain to climb at the moment. The 3,000 gold lead and 2 dragons already secured for 100 Thieves. It does put them 2 dragons away from Ocean Soul Point, which, I mean, that is a dragon soul that you definitely want to fight for if you're either of these teams. And Kenvi and Poop trying to extend their advantage as much as possible, pushing Keel away from this blue buff as he's trying to extend it as far as the least range will allow him, but it's going to reset. And you watch Ryoma as well. His positioning right now prevents RGS from being able to join the fight as well.
It prevents anybody from getting in there. He is just going to kick you in the face. Won't hesitate to do it again. Poom still zoning. It's a 2v3, but there's an equalizer available if they really want to tempt them.
Okay, I don't know if the 100 Thieves actually wanted to take that fight, because it looks like they're trying to back out now, and Keel has a crescent guard, but Poom is still staying alive through the thick of thin of it all before he finally goes down. That's a beautiful 3-man Gnarlsman from Tien. Do they have the damage follow-up? They already took down Kenvi, though, but Ryoma is there to clean up one onto Tien. Katsura and Keel are going to have to back away from this fight as well. RGS needs to be able to get out, but it looks like he doesn't have the perfect execution anymore, and Ryoma just picks him up with the stray AoE damage that he's got.
He's got like 14 minutes into this game, Rafa. He's part of every kill but the first one in the bottom lane. He's been all over the map. The whole team revolves around Ryoma right now, and it's just working. They're getting such an advantage out of him. CLG just can't fight against him. There's nothing they have in their arsenal to currently deal with it, and so even though they got a little greedy in that earlier fight, and they lost the Alistar and the Rumble very early on because they didn't pop their abilities quickly enough, when Ryoma arrives, the whole tide is turned. See that combo? Not really necessary. Kenji overheats in here, and then Alistar by himself is already so low that by the time he looks for another pulverize, he's dead. It's a good combo there from Tien, but Ryoma's already here. He's just going to do so much damage.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why 100 Thieves forced that. They did lose a couple members, but still, when you're this far ahead as 100 Thieves Academy and you're able to still pull out advantages, I guess it... I don't know if the term "it doesn't matter" is accurate here, but it's just 100 Thieves are just being able to get away with a lot of things that I don't know if you would really agree with, as Luger trying to go into the 1v1 against Katsuri, even through the exhaust. Might lose now, but he flashes in and gets the killer instinct. But now Luger, does he have a way out of this one? Kenvi is there, exhaust comes out from hooks, and RGS is able to shut him down with a perfect execution, using the second cast to get out. But will the burn be enough? But it's not going to be until the equalizer comes out to finally burn him to a crisp. Keel, now all by himself, is able to trade one back onto Poom. He doesn't have flash, though, so I think he's going down after this one. And Crumbs, we are getting bangers back to back to back on Academy today.
I am loving this one. Yeah, the whole games today have been great, yet this one in particular just speaks to me. The fact that Luger just went for that play was really nice. He got a kill on a 3-0 on Ezreal, so that was actually pretty worth it out of his part. Had the exhaust, though, so okay, some would say, it's cheating, not a real 1v1. Be quiet. It's a 1v1. All right, he had the summoner. Everyone has summoner's advantage. The other person should know if summoners are available. But the mechanical outplay that he made was phenomenal there with the flash W and then the isolated Icathian rain was really cool. And 100 Thieves ends up winning the objective game out of all that at the end.
And I'm looking at Ryoma right now. The big target to either try and kill if you can get all 5 members onto one, or you just gotta get the hell away from, because he's got 2 items at 17 minutes into the game, Gore Drinker and Black Cleaver. Insanely strong right now. I don't know if there's any CLG Academy member that can fight a 1v1, a 2v1 even, let alone the 1v1, as 100 Thieves, they have all the pressure in the world. This Ocean Dragon being picked up means that they're going to be on Ocean Soul Point now, Crumbs.
Yeah, and so while they can't fight him and 100 Thieves is on Ocean Point, that does mean that CLG can probably look to take a fight wherever Ryoma is not. So their game plan should involve not fighting him. But yes, let's take a look at how this played out. So Gale Forces instantly, right? Exhaust, procs the W on the Ezreal, and then bam, flash, auto, Q, R, all at the same time. Just kind of used a mosh pit of buttons to execute Ezreal in the end.
The rest of the fight, RJS, being able to quickly think about the honey fruit, but he still has the equalizer to be able to follow up on over, and this is where Keel is still able to trade one back onto Poom, but looking at the entire map state, Tien during this whole time was able to take a turret away, getting some global gold back into the pockets of CLG Academy, and the map has been somewhat opened up, but As you see, RGS, there's a reason why he's backing away, Crumbs, because he does not want to mess with Ryoma
Yeah,
right
he'll
now.
get kicked. He'll get kicked in the dome. He's 2 levels down, a bunch of CS, more items. It's just not worth it. Even if you have the Galio backing you up, there's a good chance with the Gore Drinker he can kill you both. There is an Ignite in there, but the mobility that Ryoma has with the Control Ward means that he's staying there if he wants to. There's no way you lock him down. And so if he wants to 1v2 you, he will. You actually need more members than that to lock him down. His ability to outplay you right now is just too damn high.
Unfortunate for TN was trying to leash the Krugs at max range. Does not get a chance to finish them before they reset. Tenacity is going to pick these up. For CLG Academy, we are now staring at 100 Thieves, who are 3 minutes away from being able to secure Ocean Soul. And at CLG, you have some assassination potential in RGS. You have some safety and a Ezreal that is hitting 2 items right now, so it's on a good power spike. How do you navigate these fights when Ryoma is just this fed?
Well, you group up, you mark the enemy with enough vision, and you make sure that you don't give him an opportunity to kick you.
Well, if Ryoma's not there in the fight, maybe CLG Academy can look for an advantage right here, but Ryoma has teleported, and meanwhile, we've got split fights. Keel is diving past 4 in order to be able to get down Kemvi. The rest of CLG Academy trying to deal with Ryoma, who has just come back into the fight and taken down Keel, but the rest of the members of 100 Thieves, they're actually falling by the wayside. Now it's all up to Ryoma, and RGS might be able to run him down. Ryoma, though, still very strong in this Lee Sin, can win a variety of 1v1s, but CLG Academy pick up a huge win here.
That was, and just as you were asking, how do you take these fights? Well, they took one when Ryoma just wasn't there. The Lee Sin was teleporting. He was split pushing, so they saw an opportunity without the most fed member and just hard committed. Now, partially, it was that 100 Thieves actually engaged without Ryoma being there. See, when Poom commits his spell and the teleport goes out, already multiple members are perhaps too low. Kenvi is already dead by Keel, and so then the rest of the team has a much harder time continuing the fight. Without Rumble being there, Lee Sin gets to be a sole threat, and now everybody else can just focus on him, keep his eyes on the Lee Sin, and so his ability to be that mobile assassin is entirely cut down since everyone is aware of where he's coming at, and they've already spent the rest of the setup abilities with no avail. And so that's the kind of fight that CLG need to go after. Just fight when Ryoma is not. It's often a difficult situation when you're dealing with a split pusher, which was kind of the scenario that we just saw, is that the enemy will look to team fight you the second the split pusher is away, because that's the time when they have those few precious seconds without all that influx of gold that is on Ryoma. And so that was what they saw as a chance, and they took it with open arms.
Well, now for CLG Academy, they know that as long as Ryoma doesn't get a chance to start off the fight, you have a good chance of being able to get an advantage and find an opportunity to continuously get themselves back into the game. But Ryoma did not die, and for 100 Thieves fans, they didn't lose the fight when a dragon was coming up. They're going to force the fight right now. That's a massive play from 100 Thieves Academy as Tien will be burned to a crisp. Ryoma in the backlines trying to buy as much time as he can. It's a shutdown for Keel, but 100 Thieves, they might be able to deal with the rest of the clean of the fight because it is still a 4-on-3. Keel and Katsuri still trying to keep the members of 100 Thieves Academy at bay. Katsuri still pelting away with these Mystic shots, but now 100 Thieves Academy, they're going to try to force a split. They're going to send the Rift Herald mid lane while they engage on the rest of the members of CLG Academy. Keel's gone, Hooks is gone, and no one is there to protect Katsuri as the exhaust comes out from Luger as he closes the distance for triple.
It's a 5-for-1, and yes, they take out Ryoma, and it gives over a bounty, but still, 100 Thieves claim the Ocean Soul, pop the Herald for another turret, and that is a price worth paying. Yeah, Ryoma gave over some gold, but it went over the Sin. It doesn't matter. They got an Ocean Soul for it. It was a giant win for 100 Thieves that they'll be happy to take again. And it already shows you that while Ryoma can be distracting in the backline, the rest of the team is more than strong enough to deal with what CLG is throwing at them. Between the Equalizer and then the incredibly powerful Kai'Sa, let alone a Renekton that is just peeling for everybody with stuns, it's really tricky for CLG to fight. That's a good equalizer. It's zoning multiple members, it's cooking them a few. Ryoma goes into the back, trying to take 2 people. It's a little bit flashy there with the ward hop, trying to get an insect onto Katsuri, but the rest of the team is untouched. Kai'Sa, full HP, still has ultimate, still has the exhaust. That just shows you that they're more than ready to continue to go in. And so when Renekton dashes in, when Tenacity follows up, Lure can surprise Katsuri, who thought he could get some cheeky poke from the side, executes him with the exhaust, and now they get control over Baron. They want to go again.
Equalizer is beautiful from Kenvi. It hit 3 people, slows their roll and their escape route as Luger using the Gale Force trying to close the distance. Oh my gosh, you're in the middle of 3 people, Luger. That was, I don't know about that one.
Okay, now I can see the play in his eyes, all right? I can see the play in his eyes. He has invisibility from his E, right? He's got stopwatch. So he's got flash. You can get in, use the combination of these 3 spells, and get out. What happened? He didn't see that this Ezreal now has a frozen heart. The damage profile has changed. This Ezreal is actually much tankier now. It's diminishing your own attack speed, so that kind of play just isn't going to happen anymore. So that was a bit of a miscalculation that could have actually ended up with a Baron 400 Thieves, but they still have that Ocean Soul and a good gold lead.
Uh-oh. RJ. Oh. Tommy, relax, brother. We already know how fed you are. You don't got to do him like that, man.
It's like when the children have asked for an Akali Pinata, it has been delivered. It is filled with a little bit of gold and a gateway to a Baron. He has flash, but he's so far away. True Shot Barrage has already been used. It's a free Baron off of a really nice pick.
Baron secured for 100 Thieves Academy. Ocean Soul in their favor as well. El Dragon is not spawning for another 3 minutes, but if I'm 100 Thieves Academy, you don't even want that thing to come up. You don't even want to give CLG Academy an opportunity to contest for it, because that would be their one way back into this game. If you're 100 Thieves right now, you are pushing sideways. You are 1-3-1ing up on the Rift right now and trying to maximize the amount of structure damage you're getting.
Yeah, and you have a pretty good Kai'Sa to follow up on the sides. If she needs to assist anybody else, she can always just use her ultimate to place herself in these fights. And with how mobile Tenacity and Ryoma currently are, they should buy enough time that they can just assist each other wherever the fight is to break out. So here, as they push into the top side, though, they need to coordinate with Tenacity in the bottom lane for that minion wave to crash. He is just about now to hit into the tier 2 tower. Ryoma can remain here, buffing up this minion, making sure that CLG stays up here a little bit longer than they would have liked to.
You can just see the siege that has begun on all 3 waves and all 3 lanes. Tier 2 turret on the bottom side of the map will fall in just a couple seconds. Ryoma is threatening the top side of the map on this inhibitor turret. Stian is trying to keep them at bay, and this is just power split pushing when you have powerful soul laners at this point in the game. Ocean Soul on their side, and Baron buff as Hooks tries to go for a play, flash taunting, but fortunately he's not going to be able to secure them as Ryoma just dunks on Tian, kicks him in the dome. RGS trying to go for the assassination attempt, but Luger has a stopwatch to buy some time. Poom and Ryoma coming over the wall and being able to save their AD carry as Tenacity will lead the charge. Ryoma landing the resonating strike. Not going to take it. It's not that crazy. He has some reservations, but they continue with the siege.
Beautiful peel from 100 Thieves to keep Luger alive. Not only was that necessary from him to be able to dash out, use the stopwatch, flash away to keep himself alive, but the rest of the squad laying down the equalizer, the Alistar, to make sure the AD carry lives. And now he's going to end the game.
And Tenacity teleporting just to make sure that the minion doesn't die. Maybe a little bit of styling, maybe a little bit of BM, because 100 Thieves Academy, they have more than enough damage, more than enough resistances, and more than enough survivability thanks to the Ocean Soul to close out Game 1. Katsura and Tian will definitely try to do their best, but it is all for naught. Game 1 goes over to 100 Thieves Academy.
And this team is continuing to impress. Many styles, many individual players stepping up to the plate. And that's what we just saw, Rafa. It was a high kill game, but 100 Thieves really came out to prove something. Ryoma with the Lee Sin was so important for the beginning of the game.
Yes, sir.
Then when that lead started to get the ball rolling, Luger took over, and he gave us a show.
Yeah, I mean, it was a show from all of them, but man, you know, in past weeks, or the past week, I know there's a lot of eyes on Kenvi being able to lead the charge, and Ryoma being able to back him up on the Karma took more of a backseat in terms of the carry roles, but him on the Lee Sin, I mean, this just goes to show how much versatility this young player has, and honestly, you know, we got to be keeping our eyes on Tommy now for a lot more, and obviously, we're not the only ones that have our eyes on him. He's got a huge fan club in Twitch chat, always coming in with the copy pastas, which I love reading all the time. And it's so endearing to see all the support for this awesome player as he put on a hell of a performance. And we're going to have to see how CLG Academy look to bounce back in Game 2, Crumbs, because if they continue the trend, they are slated, according to our script of 100% win ratio blue side, to take down 100 Thieves, but I don't know. They looked pretty powerful. We'll definitely see once we come back after this break.